Hey guys, it's typical Real Fanner 16 here. It's typical Real Fanner 16 here. The irony here, of course, that I'm seeing is that I was just about to play. Well, I have Train Sim Classic running in the background because I was just about to do a quick drive. Um, you know, taking a DRGW K27, which of course comes from Milepost Simulations Rio Grande Southern route, or Rio Grande Southern route, from Placerville to Rico. Obviously, I wasn't planning on recording that because recording Train Sim Classic with OBS on Iris Xe graphics is not as good as you think it is. It just doesn't. It won't work. I would need a more powerful laptop for that. Anyway, I just saw this. I just came across this video from the quartering. Apparently um, an illegal immigrant had murdered an innocent woman, and leftist media are framing it as a wrong place, wrong time scenario. My thing is, how can a murder be a wrong place, wrong time thing? Like, you know, you murder an innocent human. You murder someone, an innocent human being. It's for you kill an innocent human being, regardless of the reason. It's murder. You know, like the girl didn't even do anything wrong. Like, what the heck? Let's just get into the video because you got to see this to believe it.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. Let's get right into the news. Now, imagine you're an 18-year-old, you're in your first year of college, you're where you're supposed to be, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and then a lunatic, illegal alien walks across the street and extinguishes your life. And then the local paper blames it on you. I am telling you, and when I say this, I mean it with 100% honesty. You do not hate the mainstream media enough. You do not hate them enough. Now, let's look at what the local paper ran first, and then the family's reaction to it, okay? So we have this article here. Wrong place, wrong time.
Look at that, people. A woman, an 18-year-old woman who was murdered, completely innocent, mind you, was a wrong place, wrong time victim. Now, if I was the family here, I would sue for this kind of shit. This is like, not. You can't place the obvious murder, an obvious crime. You can't place a crime as a wrong place, wrong time. No, that's not how it works. Whether he intended to take her life, take an innocent woman's life or not, doesn't matter. He took her life for no reason at all, just because. And because of that, it's friggin' murder, man. How can you sit here, as a news outlet, whatever, or journalist, whatever you want to call yourself, and say, hey, this wasn't murder, this was just the wrong place, wrong time. An illegal immigrant, a lunatic, just had a firearm and murdered this innocent woman. He killed an innocent woman, aka he murdered her. And you want to frame this as wrong place, wrong time? No, this is what's called a crime. This is called a crime. It's called a violent crime, and it's called murder. Like, come on, man. Stop playing games. Get yourself together, media. Actually tell the truth here and stop lying so much.
That's what they're saying. Wrong place, wrong time. What? Friend of slain Loyola student says the incident didn't feel targeted. Well, I'm not really sure what
didn't feel targeted. Who gives a shit if it wasn't targeted or not? If she was targeted or not? The simple fact is, it's a murder. She is a victim of murder.
You're gonna do. I mean, this is despicable.
And let's see what this says here. And This Sophie P. Sherry and the Sun Times are despicable, blaming the victim murdered by illegal alien criminals who shouldn't even be here. Be here. Oh shoot, I can't even read that. Be here if JB Jelly Belly Pritzker, Governor Pritzker, whatever, and Black Lives Matter Brandon Johnson, Chicago's mayor, would cooperate with ICE. But the Sun Times are pro illegals too. We know that already. That's the thing, we know it already. Those folks are always like pro illegals. Like, you could just tell. They don't care about this woman. They don't care the fact that she was an innocent woman who was like just straight up murdered in cold blood. Whether or not she was a target, it doesn't fucking matter. This woman was murdered for no reason. She was killed for no reason. She was a victim of murder. Simple as that. Let's not. Why did the media? I know why the media likes to frame an actual violent crime, you know, as something lesser than what it actually is, and they like to victim blame. But this is like low. This is just low. I'm gonna say this because I know it's true most of the time. We know it in most cases true. If this woman was black, just guess what the reaction would be. Guess. Just guess. The media would be up in flame. The media would be up in arms for that. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting.
Imagine they're blaming her. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. You know, you know what? They deserve some of the blame too because they enable this kind of garbage. They enable these outlets, they enable that shit.
Imagine blaming an 18-year-old girl for taking one to the dome while walking with her friends near college. She was not in the wrong place at the wrong time. The only person that didn't belong there was the illegal alien from Venezuela who should never have been in the country to begin with.
Exactly. What is he doing? What is an illegal immigrant doing in the country? What is he doing in the country? He's not supposed to be here. Why is he still here? If you want to go into another country, you have to follow their rules. You have to go in their country under their rules. Meaning, they decide how you get into the country. You go in there with their permission or you don't go in at all. It's funny how other countries have borders, no problem. Well, I mean, at least if you're not a leftist, of course you won't have an issue with that stuff. With countries having borders, you know, and setting boundaries. But, you know, when it comes to states like the United States, you know, countries like the United States of America, you know, the United Kingdom, and even Spain or some other country, maybe France. When you have when they have borders, apparently there's an issue for some reason. No, there's a reason countries have borders, people. It's to keep potentially bad people away from the country. It's not like we're friends with every country out on the planet, you know. There are people that just don't like us for whatever reason.
And the media is still finding a way to spin it. Now, I have this statement from the family. So again, just so we're clear, this young college student took one to the head and died because just some illegal decided to walk across the street and do it.
Okay, so it was premeditated. Okay, so yeah, it is murder. It's first degree because this dude, he just decided, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go murder this innocent college student over here just because. How evil do you have to be to do something like that, dude? That's evil. Nah, bro. First and foremost, he shouldn't have even been in the country to begin with because he's an illegal immigrant. He shouldn't be in here. Secondly, you know, he murdered an innocent woman. He murdered a woman. He murdered somebody. A student, mind you, a college student. Only 18 years old. Didn't even get to live most of her life yet. Just because he wanted to. Nah, bro. Nah. See, it, if you are for having an open borders, you are part of the problem here. There's some blood on your hands here. Because this is why we don't want open borders like that. Because of shit like this. You don't just let anybody in your country. That's how you destroy your country.
Had no altercation. They had
And that's how you put people in danger.
no previous history. This guy was known to the police. This guy was known to be harassing people in the area. And the paper blamed her. Here's this story from Border Hawk, which is an incredible follow if you are looking at, if you want to know what's going on with immigration and things of that nature. Venezuelan migrant arrested for random execution of college girl in sanctuary city of Chicago. A suspect was arrested for the unprovoked life-taking of a teenager in the sanctuary state of Illinois last week. He has been identified as a Venezuelan migrant, according to reports. The shocking ambush unfolded just before 1:30 a.m., so it was late at night, but again, she was on campus. Sheridan Gorman, an 18-year-old student at Loyola University, Chicago, was
and they say guns are the problem. How does an illegal immigrant get on a college campus? How? Where's the security at? Where's the security at? Good Lord. Wow. That's wild, man. No security, and they're gonna blame this on guns too, mind you. They are going to try to spin this as some sort of, how do I say it? They're gonna try to frame this as more gun violence or a reason for more gun control, because they always do that. Every time there's a shooting, they do that shit instead of actually looking at the real problem, which in this case is the fact that we still allow illegal immigrants to stay here for some reason. When they should be getting deported or being tried and charged. For one, breaking into the damn country, and two, committing crimes, mind you, that with most of them being violent, they're gonna straight up frame this as some sort of gun control, necessity. And mind you, in Canada, despite all the gun control Canada had, which was outrageous, but nothing compared to the United Kingdom anyway, they still had a school shooting. Isn't that funny? What's funny is, like I said, all that gun control in Canada, and they still had a school shooting. You still think gun control works? Clearly it doesn't. It never did. It just made things easier for criminals. It made things easier for evil people who obviously want to harm innocent people. Regardless, these people are going to try to spin the story and twist it as if, the perpetrator is innocent when the perpetrator is not.
walking with friends on the beach pier in hopes of seeing the northern lights when a masked man approached the group from behind and just took her life. No hesitation. She was pronounced passed at the scene. The suspect then fled on foot, but was reportedly caught by surveillance cameras while entering a nearby apartment building with his mask off. Why would you even do that? What would possess somebody to do this?
Well, it's a very simple answer. Some people are just evil. It's like it's pretty much the same thing that what was his name? That Arthur Morgan said in Red Dead Redemption 2. Some people are just evil. There's no explaining it. Some people are just evil. Some people, they just wake up one day and want to be evil. There's, really no explaining. Some people just There's really no explaining. Some people, they just want to be evil. I mean, it's sad, but hey, that's reality for you.
Just walk up random, like,
Yep.
I understand that you have like, you know, like serial killers and stuff like that who are crazy and they do you know, crazy things and no one can really describe why. But also it goes on to say, investigators noted that a man had a distinct limp and authorities took him into custody that night. The suspect, who has not yet been named, so they're protecting his name, by the way, is in fact 25-year-old migrant from Venezuela. That's why they're covering it up. That's why they haven't shared the name. According to the arrest report.
I mean, are we really surprised here? Are we really surprised here? I mean, these people just love inviting these people just love, like, you know, inviting and drafting criminals into our friggin' country as if we don't have a say in who comes in here and who doesn't.
Report reviewed by the Chicago Tribune. Again, Chicago papers blamed this girl.
That's because Chicago's a corrupt city. They have fucking gangbangers over there. They have an absurd amount of gangbangers over there who, you know, take issue with anyone who criticizes them and like to threaten people. And on top of it, they sure love to shoot each other. And I can guarantee there are a lot of innocent people that have died because of those folks. You know, Chicago, the city of the state of Illinois don't really care. They don't really care. They really don't. Look at how much gun control is in that state. And there's still gang shootings. There's still all that mess. The same problems that state had, especially in Chicago, you know, have gotten even worse than before.
For having her life taken. Court records indicate that the Venezuelan was busted back in 2023 for shoplifting at a Macy's store in Cook County, but was subsequently released on his own recognizance by the rule of the court. Not deported at that time when he was already an illegal. It continues. At the time of the incident, the suspect randomly listed his home address as a migrant shelter at Leon Beach Park in Chicago. After he failed to appear for several court dates, a judge issued a warrant for his arrest. This is on the Democrats that want these people in the country.
This really is, yeah. It really is. It really is. It's always been. It really is. You know, those folks wanted those people in the country, and they don't want them to leave. Makes you wonder why. I think we all know why. It's just some people have a hard time some people have a very difficult time accepting reality for what it is. Some people just they just refuse to believe that the Democrats are like trying to do something crazy. I'm not exactly saying the Republicans are 100% innocent most of the time. I mean, I find the Democrats and Republicans equally worthless, you know. However, you know, the Democrats are the ones opening the borders, you know, having these illegals like traverse into this country and refusing to deport them for whatever reason. Many reasons, really.
You know, this is on the Democrats that want these lunatics in the country. Now, Gorman's family issued the following statement in response to the Chicago Sun-Times headline claiming that the victim had simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I'll put this up on the screen here so you can kind of see it.
I mean, you could say that, but that's still not an appropriate thing to say, considering that this was a murder. This was not an accidental killing, okay? This was a murder. You can't just pull this victim was at the wrong place, wrong time. No, that's not how that works. When someone is murdered, they're not at the wrong place at the wrong time. They are literally at a place where they kind of do expect to be at least minimally safe from, you know, well, whatever, really. And they die. They die anyway, by the hands of a cold-blooded monster. You know, the fact that you have the media obviously framing this as like a wrong place, wrong time scenario is hilarious. You know, because when George Floyd died, you know, no one framed it as no one said it was a wrong place, wrong time thing. People were all up in arms about that over one man because of race. But the minute something like this happens, these same people turn a blind eye to it because they're selfish lowlifes who would rather destroy everything, you know, trying to prove a point that they never had, you know, and making everyone else miserable because they're miserable, than actually bother to push for a proper justice system and for, well, politicians to do their damn jobs and work for the people, which is working for the people. Simply put, those people are selfish. They're selfish and delusional. You know, they're like they're like those kinds of parents that think that their children can do no wrong when they're sitting in a courtroom, you know, hearing the judge rip into their adult children because their adult children did some heinous shit, and they're getting worked up about their adult children getting, you know, the consequences of their actions. There's no specific example of that. You know, I'm not painting a specific example of that, you know, but there are plenty of examples. There are plenty of examples of that. You know, just a Google search away. All you gotta do is just, you know, watch Leon, ruined Leon. You can just watch just about anybody who reports on that stuff.
I'm experimenting with getting right to the topic earlier in videos, and just being a little more streamlined, less filler, less ums. Quote, she was in fact exactly.
Hey, be yourself, dude. You know, be yourself, dude. Give all the details. You know, communication is important. Spread the word. You don't have to condense yourself for your audience. As long as you can deliver, you know, as long as you just make good videos, hey, and get the news out there, hey.
Where she should have been. Close to campus, surrounded by friends, living her life. What happened to Sheridan cannot be reduced to the idea of someone being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It cannot. This is simply murder. That shouldn't be reduced to a wrong place, wrong time scenario because the media refuses to admit that illegal immigration is a problem in this country. You know, I don't know why it's so hard for people to admit that, but it's like they're allergic to just they're pretty much allergic to admitting the truth. They're allergic to accepting the truth, you know, and that we can't have that kind of stuff in this country. We shouldn't even be tolerating that on the planet. Like, you got to admit the truth at some point. You can't keep, you know, you can't keep being in denial and in a state of delusion, you know, until you die. That's like, no, you can't just live your life like that because you're putting people in danger by with that kind of mindset.
This is not an abstraction. This is the loss of our daughter, the loss of a sister, the loss of a future filled with milestones that will never come. Our family is forever changed.
Exactly. This shit had a major impact on the family, on the victim's family. An innocent soul was taken by an evil monster, by an evil monster of a human being. You cannot just frame this as a wrong place, wrong time scenario. No. An evil monster decided to intentionally, willingly decided to take the life of an innocent soul, of an innocent woman, and basically just traumatize an entire family because of it. I don't think these people understand. I don't think the media, these people who run the media and shit, understand what it's like to lose someone in your family, especially by the hands of a criminal. You know, this is disgraceful. These people should not have jobs. These people should be fired for this crap. It should be boycotted.
Sheridan was our daughter, our sister, and the heart of our family. She was full of life, full of kindness, and full of a love that she gave freely to everyone around her. She made people feel seen. She made people feel valued, whether it was her friends, her family, or someone she had just met. Sheridan had a way of leaving people better than she found them. By the way, this, again, now she's dead. So that rich, white, overweight, liberal women can put F-ICE bumper stickers on their Subarus.
Yep. And those same women, they'll victim blame too. They'll blame the victim as well until it happens to them. And that cycle will keep happening because they really don't care about anything but themselves.
Sorry, Subaru owners, I know you're catching a stray there, but it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of a, you know, that was just so unnecessary, man. That was so unnecessary.
It is. Sheridan was full of life. She deserved the future that was taken from her. We will not allow her to be remembered as just another story. She was extraordinary, and she will always be loved. Quote, we cannot accept a world where moments like this become something people grow used to.
Exactly. We can't normalize this shit. This shit is abnormal. And it needs to be nipped in the bud before it gets worse. You know, no, this shit should not be considered normal. No one should be considering this shit normal. This is not normal. Okay? This is not normal. This is abnormal. This is evil. And the fact that the media and the rest of those idiots are trying to paint this as a wrong place, wrong time incident are just... they are delusional. They are delusional and evil. Like, this is... No. No. You know, my grandmother had lost her nephew a few years ago. He was murdered. You know, it's a long story, but he was stabbed to death one night. In Connecticut, I forgot where though. Somewhere near Manchester, I do know. And like, you know, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. You know, imagine if just picture this. Someone you know, it doesn't have to be a family member, someone you're close to is murdered one day. And the media, you see the media framing it as less than what it actually is. You see the media calling it, oh, it's just it was self-defense or something, and you know it's not, and you know for a fact it wasn't, and most people know it wasn't. It was a straight up murder. How would you feel about that? Your family member being victim blamed, or someone you're close to being victim blamed for dying, for having their life taken by some evil monster with 2 legs and 2 arms. You wouldn't like that, would you? No. You'd probably be looking at the possibility of suing the media for it. You know, for emotional damages and stuff, because it is possible. But, you know, a lot of people, but, you know, people just like, I don't know, man. Something's seriously wrong with these folks that be, like, wanting to normalize this shit.
We cannot allow ourselves to become desensitized to these attacks. When we begin to accept these tragedies as, quote, as inevitable, we all become vulnerable to them. Apathy is not harmless. It allows these moments to repeat.
Exactly.
I mean, what an incredible statement. Now, as the investigation is ongoing, they've reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for more information, and updates will be published as they become available. Sheridan Gorman, who hailed from Yorktown Heights, New York, is survived by her parents, her sister, and her extended family. I mean, this is not even a bad part of town. When you look up where the beach pier, it's actually in Rogers Park on Chicago's north side. It's a diverse lakefront spot near the university. It's one of the safer neighborhoods in Chicago, with aggressive crime rates being
Safe Chicago? You can put those two words together? I've never heard of such a thing.
well below Chicago's average. It has a B- safety grade, which I guess is good for the Chicago area, but extremely low risk in the daytime. This recent incident was rare and random. I mean, this is Exhibit A on why any people are leaving the cities.
Exactly. You know, this is one of the reasons, man. You know, how can you stay somewhere knowing that you're not safe? You're not really safe because, you know, your state, your city does not care about the potential that you may die because of their inability to actually crack down on this shit. You know, this is disgraceful.
Let me put her picture back up so she can be remembered here. I mean, this woman...
Folks, I want you to spread the word. Make sure every single human on this planet, at least every single person in this country knows about this. Because this shit is not tolerated. No, we cannot tolerate this shit. I want to make sure that the media is dragged through the mud with this shit, knowing they failed to actually tell the truth here. The city of Chicago failed this woman, and so did the state of Illinois. Both failed this woman. You know, the Democrats failed this woman. You know, this is like, we can't have shit like this happening in any part of the country. This is unacceptable. This is why illegal immigration is a no-no. Absolutely not. Get them the hell out of the country. End of story. End of discussion. Get them out. Now. We don't need more innocent blood being shed. Get them the hell out now.
Woman was not in the wrong place at the wrong time. This woman was not, you know, antagonizing anybody. She was just living her best life, hanging out with her friends, probably went to a party or some prep rally or some sporting event, and an illegal walked up to her and snuffed out her life. Now, this isn't the only person. The Chicago Democrats have also been slammed. A progressive Chicago...
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Of course, the Chicago Democrats would say, "Oh, but it's not his fault. It's not the perpetrator's fault. The victim obviously, you know, did something to provoke the perpetrator, right? Because that's ever made any sense, or because that's how things work. It's not. No, absolutely not. When you have an innocent human being being murdered, you know, innocent human life taken by an evil monster on with 2 legs and 2 arms. The victim obviously did not provoke the perpetrator. The perpetrator took it upon himself or herself to murder an innocent, to kill an innocent person, to murder. You don't get to pull the wrong place, wrong time card when this is an obvious murder. This is obviously, you know, a man who's not even supposed to be here in this country deciding upon himself that he will take an innocent human life just because he can, or because he believes he can.
Chicago Democrat is taking a ton of heat for suggesting that the University of Chicago student who was executed by an illegal migrant, that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Chicago alderwoman Maria Haddon was speaking after Sheridan Gorman, an 18-year-old, was taken. Hayden said that the incident appeared to be a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time and running into the person who had a weapon.
Oh, of course, yeah. Right, like I said, let's all blame guns, because apparently guns, you know, tell illegal immigrants to execute innocent college students. Right, right. No, absolutely not. This isn't a wrong place, wrong time scenario with someone who had some random person who has a firearm. No, this is a cold-blooded murder with an illegal immigrant, a person who is not supposed to be here because he did not have permission to come into the country. Right. Come on, man. What do you Good Lord, these people wonder why they keep losing the elections.
So here we have the Democrats again. Yes, it was the weapon. Everyone focus on it being the weapon. It wasn't the illegal. It wasn't the crime. It wasn't what appears to be a premeditation. It wasn't whatever drugs this guy was on. It was the weapon. And then, you know, again, I think it bears pointing.
Oh, and on top of it, it wasn't us for letting these people come in here and stay in here and leech off of, you know, taxpayer money. It was totally the gun guys. Are you listening? You gotta listen. You gotta listen, buddy. No, we're not listening because we've heard that shit before, and it never has never convinced us. It's not convincing.
Out that Chicago has some of the single strictest laws around your ability to own a weapon to protect yourself imaginable. These women probably saw this guy approaching them, were afraid, but thought, well, I don't want to be called racist, so I'll just stand here. And the guy walked up and snuffed out her life. And Democrats are saying it was her fault. I hope that you remember this.
No, it's their fault because they failed her. You know, they failed her. They failed her family. Lock them all up, I say. Lock them up. Because they're just as responsible for her murder as that dude.
Come election time. And I hope that you remember her name and you remember this and you remember how terrible mainstream media is and you cannot hate them enough. I hope you enjoyed this video or were informed by it, and we'll talk to you again
I will absolutely remember this shit.
Soon.
Wow. You know, you would think that, you know, when your family member is murdered in cold blood by an illegal immigrant, you know, in the city, that the government within the city, you know, within the state would step up and say, hey, we're going to prosecute this guy to hell and back. We're going to make sure he never gets out after what he did. But no, instead, you know, the city, you know, the Democrats, they blame your family member for being a victim of a violent crime, for having her life taken, for no reason other than just because. Wow, what soulless pieces, spineless pieces of garbage. Well, that was the quartering, you know, an illegal executed her. That's tragic, man. This really has to stop. You know, this is absolutely disgusting. You know, this should not be normalized at all. This should never be normalized. Get illegal immigrants out the country. You know, because they're not supposed to be here. Why are they here? Why are they still here? Get them out the country. I'm tired of this crap. You know, it's ridiculous. Very ridiculous. But, you know, hey, leave a comment, subscribe to the quartering, leave a like on this video, and, you know, if you're interested, leave a comment, whatever. You know, typical real fanner,